These two schools, Jeff, both founded by Bishop Charles F. Buddy of the Diocese of San Diego. He founded Aquinas in 1954. The school opened later the fall of 55, and then it went co-ed in 71. Less than a year later, he founded Notre Dame High School, and they've been going at it since then. Over 60 years of this shield rivalry. The Archdiocese of San Bernardino was a break-off of the San Diego Archdiocese. Bishop Buddy also founded the University of San Diego. I thought you'd find that interesting.
Hey, anytime you can work in the name Buddy into a sentence, I'm always happy with that, Gazal.
Well, matter at hand, Jeff. We have the teams out for the kickoff. Aquinas, the home team, will get the ball first. June Huang will tee it off and kick it away. Back deep to receive for Aquinas is Jeremiah Edmond. He's back there with Anthony Cooper. Good crowd in here at Rice Stadium. My first time here, Jeff.
It's my first time here. I'm a staple in Southern California in the Inland Empire. I've been to the gym here, but I've never been to the football stadium here. A lot of people here for the Holy War, as they call it.
In these parts, they do call it that. Both teams had T-shirts of that designation going on, and June kicks it away, and it's going to be out of bounds. And one thing I've noticed, if you look at the numbers for both these teams, they've both done a very good job returning kicks.
Yeah, and that is something, you know, there's a great kicker. June Huang, you know, he's a 4-year starter as a kicker here for Notre Dame. He's also a Korean foreign exchange student, which is kind of strange. I mean, he's come here. Maybe he can go on and play college football based on playing here at Notre Dame High School.
Coach Huerta said that's definitely an aspiration of his. The offense coming out for Aquinas. They're led by, looks like Diego Samara will start at quarterback. He'll split time with Josiah Perez. They'll run that variation on the double wing. And here's the give. This is Kellstrom around the left side, putting his shoulder down and powering through a couple of tackles up to the 44-yard line. A 9-yard gain for Andrew Kellstrom.
Yeah, Kellstrom, like you said, they start off in that double wing set. Kellstrom came right off of that outside, very aggressive, quick-footed, and really took contact well here, the first carry of the ball game.
Kellstrom, the leading rusher this year, has 362 yards coming into the game and 3 touchdowns. He's been a varsity player for Aquinas since his freshman year, missed most of last year with an injury, but did come back in time for that great run to the Division IX championship. 2nd and 1. Bursting through the middle is Miguel Hernandez. He gets hit hard at the 50-yard line by Lance Russell. Another first down for Aquinas.
And Aquinas is definitely known for running the ball. A lot of power option offense here. Lots quite similar to what Norte Vista has run. That ground and pound double wing. Brandon Rankins, we'll talk a little bit about him tonight, the all-time leading rusher in the area.
From the Notre Dame 49, Aquinas goes. The give to Hernandez between the tackles to the left side, and he'll be dropped there. Cameron Ashley was the first one there. A bunch of white shirts were around him, so give him about 3 on the carry.
Cameron Ashley, we mentioned him the first time we saw these guys. The first game of the year was against Hillcrest, and Cameron Ashley's name was called quite a bit in that ball game, the defensive end.
Ashley, Mercado up front along with Marinos, and I believe that's Hamlin on the left end. A little bit of movement. Let's see if they were drawn as a flag comes in.
Offsides against Notre Dame.
And that'll go on the Titans.
That'll make it 2nd and 3.
So the ball moves up to the Notre Dame 42.
2-yard line of Notre Dame.
2nd and 3 coming up. Ghazal Hassan, Jeff Gorham with you, along with our entire award-winning Riverside TV crew. Thanks for joining us here. High atop Rice Stadium in San Bernardino. Kellstrom, tailback, right side. Over the 40 to the 39, just short of the first down.
Short of a first down. Be 3rd and inches.
Yeah, we're going to get a healthy dose of this tonight. They're going to go right up. House right, house left, right off those big, giant tackles of Aquinas.
On the season, Aquinas averaging under 300 yards a game. They ran for 301 last week in a 35-0 win over Xavier Prep. Here's the give to Kellstrom. Finds some space, breaks a tackle, but Lance Russell will finish him off at about the 36-yard line. He'll have a first down, however. 4 more yards for Kellstrom.
36-yard line.
Yeah, Coach Huerta, you know, he's came over from Servite. He was the secondary coach over with Servite. And we just saw right there the first effort missed tackle, and right there the second tackle by the Titans there.
Well, I mean, Kellstrom's strong. To get through, actually, you got to be strong. But Lance Russell playing downhill knocks him down, but not before he recorded the first down. Ball at the 36. A little bit of misdirection. The handoff again to Kellstrom, and there was a false start going to be called on Aquinas, so they'll back it off 5 yards for them.
Falcons have the ball at the Titan 41-yard line.
Falcons decisively beat Notre Dame last year, 43-15, and that was the first win in 5 appearances. In fact, Notre Dame had won the previous 5 games between the two teams. So Aquinas, though, they got the big win, though, at the end of the year, winning that Division IX championship last year. Split out to the top of your screen is Ethan Medeiros. Give to Kellstrom, again through contact, to the second level. Finally wrapped up again around the ankles. That was Lance Russell again. He gets 11 yards to the 36. 2nd and 4 coming up.
Hey, Kellstrom going right off of that tackle. Sees the entire field. You see he runs with his head up and draws contact, gets really low on that play there. Great effort by the running back.
Big boys up front, left to right. Trey Brooks, Sam McMaster, Malosi Ciania, Michael Hotes, and Zion Mathis on the right side of the line. They're both returning starters. Give up the middle.
Up the middle. Second gain of about 3 on the play. Forward progress shows it's going to be 3rd down and about 1.
Got to the 28, needed the 27. 2-yard pickup on the play. Saw this last week when Poly opened up against King, kind of a steady diet of Henderson. Here it's been Kellstrom for Aquinas.
And why not? I mean, they've had great running back here the past several years. Go to what you know, and that is a great running game.
Kellstrom again, trying to get the edge. Good fill. He'll have the first down, and he'll muscle to the 21-yard line through about 3 Titans. Lance Russell there along with Aiden Koenig on the hit. Another first down. 6 yards on the pickup for Kellstrom. Unofficially, he has 32 yards on 6 carries, and moving along are the Falcons.
Well, Kellstrom, if you watch on the replay here, he gets a nice reverse pivot and changes position, gets a couple extra yards just because of that pivot.
Nice spin move there. Fighting Jaden Rowe at the end of that run. Madero split out to the near side. Top of your screen are Cooper and Gansum. Another give. Kellstrom again fighting inside the 20-yard line.
Bring up 2nd and 8.
Running the right side.
About the 19-yard line.
Aquinas showing a spread offense there with receivers, but I think that was just really to kind of spread that defense, to explore that defensive line of Notre Dame.
Jordan Brusig is an old quarterback. He's going to give you a lot of looks. Now he gives a trips look to the top of the screen. Little wildcat action. We talked about that before the game. And tackled inside the 5-yard line on the carry is Jeremiah Edmond.
A 1st and goal.
And you got to like the mix-up of the play calling here. Like you said, the wildcat play that time picks up a big yards there. You got to do what you got to do. And Coach Brusig doing a great job here on the play calling early in this first quarter.
12-yard gain for Edmond. 1st and goal from the 6. Full house backfield. They'll give to Kellstrom. Kellstrom twisting, fighting, and he'll get taken down. I believe Jaden Rowe had the stop there.
If you notice on the broadcast, you got some extra bleachers that were brought out here for the big game.
You can see them on the far end zone. The end zone which Aquinas is going to. Second and goal from the 2 for Aquinas, no score. Been a methodical drive for the Falcons, started back at the Aquinas 35. Kellstrom again. This time, though, Notre Dame is ready. They'll stop him in his tracks. A couple of different Titans were in on the hit. Third and goal. I believe Cameron Ashley had his hands around that one. Here's a look at Kellstrom. Watch him move his legs here. Just keep driving. That's all weight room right there. Good job there by our camera crew and also by Andrew Kellstrom. Third and goal. The ball now at the 3-yard line as Kellstrom lost a yard on that carry. So Kellstrom now 36 yards on 9 carries. Hasn't been glamorous, but he's been able to advance the team a big bulk of this drive.
Timeout. Falcons.
13th play of the drive coming up. Timeout on the Falcons, and at that point, we'll let you know that with Hurricane Florence making news on the East Coast, now is the perfect time to learn to be prepared for a natural disaster. As part of National Preparedness Month, the City of Riverside holds its 7th annual Emergency Preparedness Fair tomorrow, Saturday, September 15th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Galleria at Tyler, just south of JCPenney. Come and check out public safety and local community resources, learn hands-on only CPR canine demos, and take a look at fire engines and FEMA search and rescue vehicles. That's tomorrow at the Galleria at Tyler from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Remember, disasters happen. Prepare now, learn how. For more info on how you can prepare for a natural disaster, visit www.readyriverside.org.
Wait, did you say there's going to be emergency vehicles there?
That you can bring the kids.
I'm going to bring my boys. They're going to be climbing all over those trucks.
Fast John will be driving one by the end of the night.
Yes, he will.
So third and goal.
Third down and goal from the 3. Direct snap to Gansom. We're into the corner.
Touchdown.
And he's in. Touchdown, Gary Gansom.
Gary Ganson.
You got to like that Wildcat offense occasionally to throw in that extra wrinkle. And if that gets you a touchdown, they're going to do that all night long to see if Notre Dame can adjust defensively. Good call there by the Falcons.
Gary Gansom caps the run off with a 2-yard run at the end there. Medeiros holding. Perez with the PAT. And it is true, and it's 7-0 Aquinas. You know, Kellstrom and Gansom will get the credit, but you got to give credit to the big boys up front. Trey Brooks, Sam McMaster, Malosi Ciania, Michael Hotes, and Zion Mathis. Hotes and Mathis are leaders on the team. They're a couple of returning starters and captains, but, you know, they had an injury earlier this year. Anthony Suarez, their starting left guard, blew out his ACL early in the year, had to be replaced by Sam McMaster, who was kind of playing between defensive end and tight end, but he had to move up to the offensive line. So playing for Suarez, who got the injury against St. Margaret's in the opener, we'll get a look at the offensive starters for Notre Dame. Well, we should wait till they get the ball because maybe Aquinas will try an onside kick, but Koenig, we saw Mosley. We'll get our first look at Alejandro Achi Dizazzo. He is a transfer from Carnegie, and that's an interesting story we'll get into as well, as Perez will tee it up. 7-0 Aquinas here in the early going with 4:27 to play in the first quarter. 13-play, 65-yard drive that consumed nearly 7.5 minutes for the Falcons to open this one up. They were ready for this rivalry match. Perez will kick. It's a squibber. Fielded about the 35-yard line. And it'll be Notre Dame football. Making the play for Notre Dame, Joaquin LaCuesta ended up with the football.
You know, this Notre Dame offense took a little bit of time to kind of get going. The first game of the year, they've only put up 14 points against Xavier Prep, but their last game versus Rubidoux, a big 59-20 victory over the Falcons of Rubidoux.
So Koenig, your quarterback. Split out far on the near side, Ballister. To his left, Koenig. To his left is Tyler Mosley. On the other side,
Only the coaches are allowed to stand in the box.
in the far slot is Othman for Notre Dame. Empty set, Koenig to throw. He'll throw to the outside, in and out of the hands of Othman.
Complete.
In on the coverage for Aquinas was Terrion Sweet. It'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Sweet.
Malachi Vaipulu, Zion Mathis, Michael Hotest, that front three. Those linebackers are very active for Aquinas. Secondary also extremely athletic. Watch Ethan Cooper, number 21 at cornerback. He's a big playmaker. Ganson, the 3-year starter, 3-year varsity player, is kind of the anchor on that defense, at least in the secondary, as they'll move the sticks up move it up 5 yards. Flag came in on the play.
Anchors that Aquinas defensive line.
So penalty on the Falcons is their 2nd. It'll move it up to the 41-yard line, 2nd and 5. Full house backfield for Notre Dame. And nobody was there to throw it. He'll throw to Othman down the field, and Othman with the catch one-on-one with Cooper. Cooper will drag him down at the 12-yard line. He dispossesses him of the football, and they're going to say he's down. Good job playing to the whistle. That'll be a great matchup between Anthony Cooper and Ashton Othman, 2 superior athletes.
It's a holding call against Notre Dame.
That was a great play call, I think, on offense. I think it was supposed to look like a broken play, but Othman, the 4-year starter, all-league receiver, running that deep route.
It's all going to come back, though, on the holding penalty.
Yes, it is, but good call. In fact, when we had the Titans against Hillcrest, against the Trojans earlier in the season, first half we didn't hear much of Othman, and then the second half he exploded and showed the athletic ability and why he has been an all-league performer the last few years for Notre Dame.
Titans have the ball during 32-yard line.
So the ball moves back to the 31, and movement up front 5 yards will come right. I think they got Vaipulu. So 3 penalties so far on the Falcons. It'll move it up back to the 36-yard line.
It's offsides on the Falcons.
So deja vu all over again. It's back to a 2nd and 9. First down at the 46 of Notre Dame. Titans with possession. They trail 7-0. First offensive sequence for the Titans. Here's the give. Here's Mosley, and nowhere going. Oscar Montenegro in the backfield to drop him for a loss.
Good adjustment there by Aquinas. Notre Dame went to the audible. They looked over to the sidelines. They changed the call, but Aquinas picked up on the play pretty quickly there.
Montenegro was the 10th leading tackler last year as a junior. Coming into play today, he had 12 tackles in 4 games as a junior. Started last year as a sophomore, and Notre Dame will take a timeout. Both teams now have taken a timeout early here in this one. Aaron Huerta and his team will talk it over. It's okay. No, can you give me the defensive stats on Aquinas? We talked in the early going that Notre Dame's offense has really kind of stepped up over the last 3 weeks. You mentioned the 59-pound outburst last week against Rubidoux, but let's look at the Aquinas numbers. They were so dominant last year on defense, Jeff. Last year, this team allowed 8.6 points a game. They forced 32 takeaways, and they allowed less than 200 yards per game. This year, they're off to a great start. We mentioned it in the open, 17 points in 4 games. They've already totaled 2 shutouts. They're only averaging 158.5 yards per game allowed. In fact, last week against Xavier Prep, they allowed just negative 15 yards rushing, so they held them to negative numbers, and it's relevant in the sense that that's the one team both these guys have played. Now, Notre Dame played them the first week at home and beat them 14-3. Were able to hold them to 24 yards rushing, but Aquinas last week went down to Xavier Prep and really shut down their running game. 3rd and 11 coming up for Notre Dame.
Back to pass.
Koenig down the field, overthrows. Intended target was Othman. In on the coverage for Aquinas was Miguel Hernandez. It's 4th down.
Well, those 4 guys up front for Aquinas showed blitz there. Darn near got to the quarterback. number 52, Michael Hotets, showed blitz, and that's why Koenig had a bad throw there. Great up front by the foursome of Aquinas.
Jeremiah Edmond is a thrill maker. He's a playmaker back there at returning the punt off the leg of Otherman. Good kick by Otherman. It'll be picked up at the 14-yard line. Dancing is Edmond, and he's pounded down at the 15-yard line. So a good kick, nearly a 50-yard kick off the foot of Otherman, and flips the field for Notre Dame. So it'll start at the 16-yard line of Aquinas. Good coverage down the field. Seth Gorgon gets his nose in on the tackle. And we'll flip it over to the offense.
Let's see if the Titans here can stop this Falcon offense. They were a juggernaut and took up a lot of time and real estate on that first drive. See if they can adjust.
Kellstrom rolled right down, had 36 yards on 9 carries. They got a big play on the Wildcat play to Edmond, and then Ganson ultimately put the ball in the end zone on a Wildcat play as well. 2:59 to play first quarter, 7-0 Aquinas. The battle for the Shield. The series started back in 1956, and want to throw a thank you out to both Jim Alexander and Eric Paul Johnson of the Press Enterprise for compiling some information on this series, because I didn't have any records of it going way back, and some of the schools didn't have the same records. You find that in college basketball sometimes.
Well, you know why? Because the records were in the bowels of the Vatican. You had to go down to the reliquary to get the records. So Jim Alexander, who was around when the school started.
This is Kellstrom again, and Kellstrom will get them a little space. Kellstrom will get a first down. They'll move the ball up to the 21-yard line, a 12-yard pickup on the play for Kellstrom. And again, off and running, no pun intended, are Aquinas. Here's a look. Ultimately, both teams, both schools we mentioned, founded within a year of each other, and then both have 3 CIF titles. More recently successful has been Aquinas. They've had 3 since 2000, 2 under Josh Henderson and 1 under Jordan Brusick. Here's the give up the middle. Here's Hernandez to some space. Second level.
Hernandez.
And he'll be tackled at the 35-yard line after picking up 14 yards. Hernandez now 3 carries on the game, 23 yards.
Holy cow, Hernandez showed some great breakaway speed there. Just because of his sheer effort, he picked up a lot of extra yards there.
You know, 5'9", 150-pound senior, was on last year's championship team. And, you know, Coach Brusick said, you know, he's a guy, you look at him, not very impressive, but what a football player. You know, you're like, well, where's all that coming from? Great tackler, great runner. Handoff, I believe that was Hernandez again. He'll get stacked up, trying to run the left side.
Well, the last couple of weeks, we've seen these pocket-sized running backs do a lot of damage on Riverside TV. Looks like we have another one tonight.
Now, Isaac Handy, also the seniors and generally in the rotation, haven't seen him yet today. Let's check out if he's along. He is on the sideline, looks like. 2nd and 10 as there was no gain on the first play. Hernandez takes the handoff. Squeezes through on the inside and finally is tackled. I believe that was Lance Russell again, bringing him down at the 47-yard line. Another healthy gain for Hernandez. 5 carries, 34 yards for the senior. He'll come off. Tick down to a minute remaining here on the first quarter with 7-0. And Aquinas seems to have everything going for him. Moving the ball, playing tight on defense. Madero split out to the bottom of your screen, flexed out. Nearest to the screen is Ganson. And here's the give. This is Ortega, and he'll get submarined by Cameron Ashley. Ashley with the tackle coming over top to help out Brian Orozco for Notre Dame. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage for Juan Ortega.
You know, talking about this Aquinas offense, you know, they lost over 3,000 yards by St. Brandon Rankins last year, the Division IX Player of the Year.
They lost 89% of their rushing yards, 84% of their receiving yards, 81% of their receiving touchdowns, 91% of their rushing touchdowns. Here's Kellstrom back, and this time looks like Hanlon got there. Hanlon will drop him back to the 35-yard line.
How good was Brandon Rankins? He only had 8,745 yards in his career.
How about 106 touchdowns?
Ridiculous.
I mean, 4-year player, 3-year starter, played on a CIF finalist team as a junior and a CIF championship team as a senior, as we'll tick down to the end of the first quarter. So the first quarter, the first 12 minutes of the battle for the Shield in favor of the home team, the Falcons of Aquinas. They lead this one 7-0. Ghazal Hassan, Jeff Gorham with you, along with our entire award-winning Riverside TV crew. And the first drive, we go back to the opening drive of the game. 13 plays, 65 yards, took 7.5 minutes. And let's look at some Andrew Kellstrom highlights here. He didn't end up getting into the end zone, but he got them most of the way. And you watch how meticulously Jordan Brusick and the Falcons run that double wing. That's Kellstrom after contact. Look how many yards he gets after contact. Contacted there, but no, he'll lunge forward for another yard or so. Another play. Boom, contact, but he escapes that. Another second contact to bring him down. And Kellstrom, again, working through a tackle. And then, again, you got to work to bring him down. And that's just really what these Falcons are. You know, I was talking with one of the Falcon assistants before the game about they jumped 4 divisions. They won the Division IX title last year, Jeff, and now they're in Division V. They said it'll be a challenge. I think the Falcons are up to that challenge, just the way they play.
Well, I think they are just because they're so poised offensively, defensively. They're well-rounded. They didn't seem to lose too much. You say, well, you lose Brandon Rankins. Yeah, that's huge, but they seem to have picked up the slack by committee.
Timeout Notre Dame. It'll be their second timeout here in the first half. So Aaron Huerta and the Titans calling a timeout. Give you a chance to introduce you to our officiating crew. Our umpire is Peter Jimenez. Line judge is Tim Burrows. Our referee is Roland Lemus. Jason Jimenez, the head linesman. David Duarte, the back judge tonight. Beautiful night in San Bernardino. Don't get a chance to get out here. I didn't realize we're just in the shadow of the mountains just below Lake Arrowhead.
Yeah, it's one thing. You told me you hadn't been to Lake Arrowhead or Big Bear.
Big Bear, no Big Bear.
Ghazal, you're going to have to go. We have a cabin, the stately Gorham Manor up in Big Bear. You're going to have to come up and hang out with the Gorham family.
I've always wanted to come up to Big Bear since I saw 48 Hours, because my little sister would call Billy Bear Big Bear. And said, no, it's Billy Bear. But, you know, she's a little kid. What's she going to do, you know? We didn't want her hearing all the bad words. We're like, okay, you know.
That was a movie I snuck into when I was a kid. And it was still one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, to me, it's Eddie Murphy's best performance. But we'll talk about that later. 3rd and 12 from the 45 of Aquinas.
3rd and 12.
Here's the give. This is Edmond. Edmond to midfield, lunging forward. And he'll be dropped by Jaden Rowe. Koenig was the first man there, but Rowe finished him up. And it's about an 8-yard pickup, so it'll be a 4th down. And it'll be a punt coming up. We'll do it on the change of possession. So Jeremiah Edmond will kick. And then back to receive is Othament for Notre Dame. He'll stand at the Notre Dame 12. Fake. Kellstrom, first down.
First down on the fake.
Kellstrom knocked out of bounds by Othament at the 25-yard line, so make it a 27-yard pickup for Kellstrom, and the drive continues here. Toss it down quickly to J.R. Ibarra on the sideline.
Yeah, hey guys, just kind of a side note for Coach Jordan Brusick. Not many people know that he played college-level hockey for the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and actually played semi-pro hockey for a couple of months. I asked him about it earlier tonight. He said it really was just kind of a sideline. It was never his full intention to get to the NHL, but nonetheless, it's a very favored hobby, if you will, for Coach Jordan Brusick to play hockey on the ice, but I guess he prefers the gridiron to the ice. Back to you guys.
Big play makes it 1st and 10. We officially at the 30. Samara to throw. Now he'll just tuck it under. He's dropped at about the 24-yard line. Tackle on the play by Brian Orozco. So nice job by Samara running the football.
And Samara, a lot of ball fakes here. Notre Dame taking the bait here in the first half. A lot of pickup yards based on misdirection here by Aquinas.
Second and short, 24-yard line. Here's the give. This is Handy. Look at how shifty he is. Handy to the open field. Handy, touchdown. Aquinas into the end zone. 24-yard run by Isaac Handy. The first time he handles the football, he finds pay dirt.
Isaac Handy, I'll tell you what, looked like he was stuck dead to rights, but these Aquinas running backs are super quick, great foot speed, great balance and momentum, just carried him all the way to the end zone. Great run, first carry.
So Handy, we hadn't seen him, was wondering what they were waiting for. Well, they were waiting for that, and it's a 13-0 lead. PAT from Perez. It is high, it is far, it is good. So the big play on that was that 27-yard run on the fake punt. Another look at the touchdown here. Great lateral movement a couple of times, creating some space, and then on the angle into the end zone. And Aquinas jumps out on top 14-0. 9 plays on that drive, 84 yards, 4 minutes and 34 seconds. So both times, Jeff, that Aquinas has gotten the football, they've been able to traverse into the end zone.
And they've done it by playing smart. They've shown a lot of misdirection, different play calling. We've seen the double wing. We've seen the spread. We've seen misdirection by the quarterback. Very good game called here so far by the young coach, Brusick. We talked about it. When did he graduate high school?
2005.
Holy smokes, he's just a kid.
A young guy, but he's very well steeped in this school's tradition.
I'll tell you what, I was impressed talking to him prior to the game, and I'm even more impressed by watching his young team play here with such poise, strength.
Didn't you have them on your show?
We had them on a few times.
Mosley and Othman deep. Perez for Aquinas.
Kick taken at the 6-yard line.
Here's Othman on the return. Trying to get up ahead of steam, got a little bit of space. Edmond, I think, finally knocked him out of bounds at about the 26-yard line. So call it about a 20-yard return for Othman, which is well below his average. He came in averaging about 40 yards a kick return.
We say his name all night long. He's a punter. He's a receiver.
Does it all. 10-17 to play first half. 14-0. Aquinas has jumped out on top of Notre Dame in this rivalry matchup. Last year, Aquinas ended a 5-game losing streak against the Titans with a 43-15 pretty decisive victory. And the Titans want to flip that back around. They come in 4-0, ranked number 6 in Division 7. High snap to Koenig. Here's the give. This is the big fella. Achi DeZazzo needs a yard on the play.
Achi DeZazzo talked to the DOFO, the Director of Football Operations, Mike Lara, earlier in the week, and he said, hey, you're going to be impressed with this big fella. I said, what do you mean? He's 6'4". I said, hey, is he playing basketball? He said, nope. He's our running back. He's our tailback, and he is a special player, transfer out of Carnegie.
A little more on the story about the Carnegie Academy, which is in Riverside. Second down and 9. Little misdirection and the completion to Othman at the 36-yard line.
Yeah, Carnegie is a school in Riverside that was a charter school. It was run by the Carnegie Foundation. As kind of they went dormant here during the summer, and they're trying now to make a comeback. But a lot of those guys from that program left and have ended up at Notre Dame. Poly, King.
1st and 10 from the 35. That's Mosley in motion. The reverse to Mosley, and they sniff it out. 3 blue shirts there.
Loss of 1 on the play.
Malachi Vaipulu, the first to get there, as Mosley is stopped for no gain.
2nd and 11.
And talking a little bit more about Carnegie, their head coach last year, Jason McMains, is now on the staff of Notre Dame High School, brought over Wayne Cochran, who's in the Riverside Sport Hall of Fame. So you got some big-time coaches on the sideline for Notre Dame.
3rd and long. Offerman to the top of your screen. Now they'll move Koenig and Mosley to the far side. On the near side is Ballister. Little screen underneath. This is Mosley in space. Mosley to midfield, 1 man to beat. Mosley turning on the Jets, and he'll go all the way. Touchdown, Tyler Mosley.
Touchdown by Mosley.
65 yards on the little screen, and they got the ball in his hands, and Tyler Mosley did the rest.
I'll tell you what, they almost jumped and got an interception, went right through the arms of the defender, and Mosley, breakaway speed, as nobody was going to catch him as we got that full stride. I hope he's on the track team. That was an amazing run by Mosley.
They needed that. So Mosley takes it 65 yards on the swing pass. And here's our guy, Jun Huang.
Kick is good.
And he makes it 14-7 with 8:23 to play in the second quarter. Aquinas really grinding Notre Dame. Let's get another look at the play here.
If you see, he almost got a hand on the ball.
I believe that was Montenegro for Aquinas as we look Mosley and just down the sideline. Nobody's going to catch him. The transfer from Carnegie makes the big play. So 14-7, the rivalry heating up here. Let's see what Notre Dame does here. 8:23 to go. That was a quick drive for the Titans. Four plays, 74 yards, of course 65 on one of them. Just under 2 minutes on the drive. So here's the kickoff. Let's see what they do. Edmond back deep along with Cooper. Booms it. Cooper will pitch the ball to Edmond. Edmond full stride, head of steam, but runs into a convoy.
It's out to just shy of the 20-yard line.
About the 19-yard line, that's where Notre Dame stops Aquinas, and that's where the Falcons will start this next drive. First 2 drives have both resulted in touchdowns.
Now, I'm going to bring this up. Falcon or Falcon?
I like Falcon.
I do too.
I like Falcon.
I do too, but I think people might think we're strange if we say Falcon. But I think we should go Falcon the rest of the night.
We talked about it before the game. One of my favorite, and it's applicable tonight, favorite cartoons as a kid, the Blue Falcon and Dino Mutt.
Dino Mutt.
Go to Google for that, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, unless you grew up like Jeff and I did. BF. The Dino Mutt used to call Blue Falcon BF.
Right.
I'm a little kid. I don't know what's going on. He's like, oh, it's Blue Falcon. Oh, I get it. 1st and 10. Here's Kellstrom. Kellstrom slashing. And he'll be brought down. It's again Lance Russell. Stops him after about a 9-yard gain.
You know, watching Kellstrom, you know, you look at running backs and you think breakaway speed. I don't know if Kellstrom has that true breakaway speed, but he has one thing that a lot of guys don't have is he's very quick. I mean, he can turn on a dime.
Agility. I mean, it seems like he'd be a pretty good basketball player.
Yeah,
Just kind of watching him.
And if you watch it, he reads the defense and is so quick. He seems to be one step ahead that first step.
Madero split out wide. They'll give this to Ortega. Ortega between the tackles.
First down, Falcons.
Pounding inside the 30, or over the 30, excuse me, the 31. That'll be enough for the first down as he gets 4 yards.
Are we going to get to see a little bit more Handy?
Ortega on that carry. That's a first down.
So the ball up to the 32-yard line for the Falcons.
At their own
Aquinas with a 14-7 lead. 7:24 to play first quarter.
Just like Adam Gorgon of the Titans has had to step out of the ball game injured.
Jalen Cooper in the near slot, split out as Abercrombie. And the pass is deflected. It's down on the turf. Oh, that was a fumble. And the glass is down for a second. Nice heads-up play by Diego Samara. It's a big loss, but they don't lose the football back to the 19-yard line.
It was a bad snap.
About second and about 22.
So the line of scrimmage was about the 32. It'll move back 13 yards. We'll do it all over again. Second down coming up. First down is up to the 42-yard line of Aquinas. Falcons to the line. Kellstrom through one tackle. Over the 30, combining are Koenig and Russell. Got most of that lost yardage back, did Kellstrom.
I don't know if Kellstrom's going to get 3,000 yards this year, but he sure is a fun back to watch.
I mean, he was supposed to be kind of the caddy for Brandon Rankins last year. Also started on defense, but got hurt. And he didn't come back till late in the year, but did play in that playoff run. Played in this game as a freshman in the battle for the Shield and managed an interception in that game back in 2015. Whistles and flags.
Offsides against the Titans. It'll be 3rd and 5.
So third penalty on Notre Dame for 25 yards. Make it a 3rd and manageable. Ball moves up to the 37-yard line of Aquinas. 14-7, Aquinas leads Notre Dame. This series started back in 1956. You know what was the #1 song in 1956, Jeff Gorham?
I do not.
I'll give you a hint. It was by Elvis Presley. Kellstrom. Lance Russell finds him, but not before he has the first down over the 46-yard line. 9-yard pickup.
Well, it had to be the Rockabilly days. 56. Hound Dog?
Close. Same letter.
Same letter.
Yeah.
I think you might have got me.
Ever since Smedberg left you, you find a new place to dwell?
Heartbreak Hotel.
Heartbreak Hotel.
I was getting ready to get I was singing it in my head.
1st and 10, line is the 46. Samara to throw. Got some pressure. Throws in and out of the hands. Incomplete. Intended receiver was Jonathan Irvin.
Good play there. Irvin came all the way across the
That was a
field.
well-designed play.
Very well designed. Rolled out to his right. Came all the way across the field. Just Irvin, I think, thought he had it and probably said, I'm going to run before he caught it. And he might have gone to the house on that play.
When I talked to Coach Brusig earlier, they do run a lot, and I just figured, you guys run a lot. And he said, no, I'm confident in both our quarterbacks, both Diego and Josiah. I think they could both, if we needed them to lead a drive or a couple of drives, they could lead them. 2nd and 10 coming up. Here's the run. He's got a lot of room. Wow. Kellstrom yet again. Check that instead. That's Juan Ortega. All the way to the 41-yard line on the, check that, the 39-yard line on the Notre Dame side of the field.
He seemed like he was 3 steps ahead of everybody. Looks like before he handed the ball off, he was already 5 yards ahead of the play if you watch here on the replay.
He got the head start on the 8th grade 100-yard dash. Is that what you're saying? Mr. Bevilacqua didn't look up and blow the whistle?
He did not. I choose not to race him.
1st and 10, 39. Here's Handy trying to pick his way, but not having much luck. Hamlin in on the hit. Also, Kerry Collins in there, along with Ryan Hernandez for Notre Dame. Maybe a yard on the play.
Coach Bevilacqua.
Mr. Bevilacqua, the phys ed teacher.
I think every single game we have got at least 1 or 2 Seinfeld references this year.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
That's great. What are you talking about?
2nd and 9 from the 38. The quick throw out to Ganson. Ganson's got some room. He'll get hit underneath and stumble. I believe that was Koenig with the hit up to the 31-yard line. They'll need to get over the 30 for a first down.
That was a quick hitter there for a nominal gain. Let's see if they go to that Wildcat set here. We've seen him do it twice on short yardage.
From the 32, they need to get over the 30. It's a little bit more than 2 yards, about 2.5 yards needed here. We've seen Ganson and Edmond out of the Wildcat for Jordan Brusig. I'll tell you what, they've prepared really well. They've had a lot of different looks for the Notre Dame defense.
They have changed it. Like I said, we saw the double wing. We've seen the spread. We've seen the Wildcat.
That is their second timeout. They have one remaining.
Aquinas will use timeout number 2 as we would have 2:54 remaining here in the first half. 14-7 Aquinas. Aquinas took the ball and they put it right down the field to go up 7-0. So a stop for Notre Dame would be big here because they're going to get the ball at the beginning of the second half, Jeff.
Yeah, you gotta be smart here. If you're Notre Dame, you've got to be able to make a stop. You got to be smart. You got to make adjustments. And I'm sure Coach Huerta, the defensive mind of the Titans and former coach of the secondary at Servite, and he also has
Scott Lamberts is a coordinator.
And he's got himself several championships as well as an assistant coach in the
Corona Del Mar.
Yeah.
When he's working for Scott Meyer. You know, this rivalry, they say it may have lost a little bit of edge not being in the same league because obviously Notre Dame no longer in the Ambassador League, but I feel it tonight. I feel there's some juice in the air. There's a good atmosphere here this evening at Rice Stadium in San Bernardino. Third and call it 3 from the 32. Tight set. Handy. They stopped him. Tim Monero's got his nose down there. Orozco came over the top as well, and down underneath was Ryan Hernandez for Notre Dame. So he got to the 30, and it'll be 4th down and 1.
I got to say they're going to go for it here. They're too deep into Titan territory with a lead, and just under 2.5 minutes. Got to go for it.
So at 11:13, we had the fake punt. Here's a big play on 4th down. The give, Kellstrom got it. Kellstrom running behind Malachi Vaipulu gets up to the 25-yard line. So a big play. Kellstrom now over 100 yards unofficially.
That was just a power option right there. That was just going right over the middle. And you run behind Vaipulu. Vaipulu, a stud.
Defensive lineman who also gets some time at fullback. He ran the ball a little bit for them earlier this year. Ethan Medeiros goes out to the top, and Aquinas will use their last timeout. Remember Glenn Medeiros, the young crooner from the mid-'80s?
Yes.
Nothing going to change my love for you. My dear friend, David Heppen, he and his lovely bride, Carrie, just celebrated, I think, their 19th wedding anniversary. And I remember because they have a daughter who's like 14 or 15, and she is a big fan of Shawn Mendes. So his wife was trying to explain to me who Shawn Mendes was. I have no idea. You probably know who he is because you have kids. And I said, is he anything like Glenn Medeiros? And she said, I've never heard of who Glenn Medeiros is. So I sent her the clip. You know, I tweeted her the clip of the video of the song.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, my. That's exactly who Shawn Mendes is. So
yeah, Shawn Mendes. A big fan of her. Smedberg is a big fan of.
Oh, Shawn Mendes. Okay.
Oh, yeah. A young
you remember
crew.
that was the closeout song in every junior high dance.
Yes, it was.
Nothing's gonna save my love.
Nothing's gonna save my love.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a great song.
And he was 16 when he recorded. That was the whole big deal, right?
Yeah, and then his voice changed
when he recorded it. Yeah, unfortunately.
Then he became a baritone. Now he's in some barbershop quartet.
Glenn Medeiros and Martika were like the big hits of 1987.
I had a big crush on Martika.
1st and 10 from the 25. Samara to throw. It's complete to Montenegro, and a big hit by Jaden Rowe at about the 14-yard line. So it'll be a 1st down. Sticks will move up. That was a good throw by Samara. How about that?
Good pass, but tell you what, I'm more impressed by the stick of Jaden Rowe. He said, welcome, young man.
Another look at it.
Watch this hit.
Oscar Montenegro mostly plays linebacker in there as a tight end. And here's Kellstrom again. Kellstrom spinning and ripping through a tackle. He'll get inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line. 5 more yards for him.
Yeah, Kellstrom, when he runs, he has the, remember the old cartoons where the legs would spin really fast? His legs are all over the place.
I mean, we saw that clip earlier, him just driving. Been impressive. And the offensive line has been great for Aquinas. Here's the give. Here's Kellstrom again. Bouncing off contact inside the 5. He can get a first down. Well, they will get a first down. I said he can get a first down inside the 5, and he got it.
And remember last year they had those German foreign exchange students.
They did.
And they were enormous. Both are playing Division I football this year. I talked to Coach Brusick before the game. One is at the University of California, and the other is at University of Colorado.
Funny you bring that up. I'll mention Brandon Rankins at Utah. You mentioned him. Salio Cisse at Azusa Pacific. Marcellus Gooden, he's at Morningside College, is an NAIA school in Sioux City, Iowa. Joshka Guste at Colorado.
Joshka Guste, he was a stud, big man.
Ruben Fabian, he's at the New Mexico Military Institute. Ramaya Woods at Bethany College NIA School in Kansas. Ryan Wellock at Trinity International in Deerfield, Illinois. They're at NIAE school formerly coached by Derek DeWitt of Poly.
That is right.
And then who are you? The lineman went to Cal.
Went to Cal. I can't think of his name offhand. I'll look him up.
Gustav,
here.
Right?
Is it Gustav? I drive er fünf.
Back to action after the 3rd timeout by the Titans. 1st and goal from the 4. Hernandez in the backfield with Hellstrom. Fullback is Ortega Whistles. And that's on Notre Dame. Half the distance. 4th flag on Notre Dame. You have to give Aquinas credit. They've really made what they call the innocent climb. In 2015, remember they lost to Notre Dame in that CIF semifinal. They made the final in 2016, lost a heartbreaker 33-32 to St. Anthony after escaping with a 64-63 win in the semifinal, and then, of course, winning it last year. Kellstrom. Touchdown. Aquinas finishes the half with authority, completing an 81-yard drive as Kellstrom puts on the exclamation point.
And why not? Kellstrom has been all over. He has been the workhorse of this Falcon offense. We do have a score update in Riverside as the big rivalry in Riverside, Riverside Poly versus my alma mater, Ram High. And the Rams lead the Bears 38-7 at halftime.
Wow. PAT is up and good, and it's 21-7. So a 14-play drive, 81 yards, took nearly 7.5 minutes, and we're down to 43 and 0.6 of a second to go. They just took the ball and just burned it down the field, and they burned the clock. And this is what Aquinas is doing. They're playing the great defense and running the ball control, and it's working to a T.
Yeah, when you can win the ball control and, like you said, run a 7-minute drive, a 6-minute drive in the first quarter, it's tough to kind of come back if you're Notre Dame because you're never going to have the ball.
Every time Aquinas has had the football, they've been able to put it into the end zone. Notre Dame will get the ball to start the second half, so let's see what they try to do here with under a minute to play. They do have big strike capability. We saw it before. Josiah Perez will kick it away. Mosley and Othman back deep. Othman from the 2. Finding some space right up the middle in full stride. Stumbles through. Hit the ground at about the 33, 34-yard line. And that's where Notre Dame will start it, from the 34-yard line with 38 and 0.4 of a second. So here we go. Aaron Huerta comes in. He's won his first 4 games. Going to get the ball in the second half. You try to do something here, or you just kind of write it off and say, let's start playing when we come back out after the half?
I think you got to try for something. I don't think you take a knee. I think with Coach over there talking on the sidelines and say, hey, look, let's give it a couple runs here. Just don't turn the ball over. That's the one thing you don't want to do. I don't think they're going to pass. Let's see if they can get something out of the running game.
Single back, it's Achi DeZazzo. Koenig under some pressure. Takes a hit. He launches it downfield for Robinson, who makes the catch inside the 40. Juggles it. He lost the football, and it's going to be Aquinas football. On the spot was Oscar Montenegro. Robinson made the catch, went down, lost the football, and it was recovered by Montenegro for Aquinas. Oh, they said he's down. Okay.
So Notre Dame
Another
being
look at it.
risky here.
He makes the catch. He's juggling. That's a fumble. I'm sorry. He's juggling that football.
I have to agree there, but big play call there by the Titans.
And he'll ground it. So 26-yard completion from Koenig to Justice Robinson. And Robinson, I know you mentioned to me, comes from a good athletic lineage. Dad was a basketball player under John Macy.
That's right. Now he is the head basketball coach of the CIF champion Titans.
From the 41. Second down and 10 for Notre Dame. Trying to run this a less than 2-minute offense. Koenig back to throw. Hits the check down to his brother Aiden. He'll be tackled at the 35-yard line. And this time, the ball was loose again.
Ball came loose again.
Let's watch it again. They ruled it a completion to the 35. One last play, and now flags come in. I think he was trying to ground that, was Koenig. You got to like the way these Aquinas defenders, they're just going for the strip, and they're doing a good job on it. They've dispossessed two receivers over the last two plays.
7 seconds to go in the first half.
One last play. Koenig will loft it downfield for his brother. Incomplete. Miguel Hernandez on the coverage for Aquinas, and that's how the first half will end. 21-7 the score at the half here at Rice Stadium in San Bernardino. The battle for the shield, Aquinas in control. And we have Jordan Brusig on the field with J.R. Ibarra.
Here with Jordan Brusig. Coach, a pretty good first half with your running game, but what needs to improve in the second half here?
No big plays. Can't give up big plays. Can't give up big plays.
What are you happy with so far?
Everything. Everything. We're playing our butts off, but we can't make it easy. They can't score in 20 seconds. We have the ball the whole first half, and these guys, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
All right, we'll let you get to the locker room. Thanks, Coach. All right, as you saw, it was kind of a tough time for Notre Dame. I know they wanted to establish a running game early on, but probably a little frustration there for Coach Huerta. We'll try to get a chance to talk to him when they come out back for the second half. Guys, we'll send it back up to you.
Thanks, JR. 21-7 the score at the half. I mean, you mentioned the time of possession. Aquinas has been dominant. They have a 7:29 drive and a 7:34 drive. They have two drives over 7 minutes, and the other drive was just under 5 minutes. So they've held the ball in the first half for at least 20 minutes.
And that's been the ball game. They have not given Notre Dame a chance to come back because they've held the ball for so long. Defensively, they've done a great job of countering Altman and Koenig, but Aquinas has played a darn near perfect first half.
I mean, ball control, and it's really stifling on defense, and Brusig was right. The one score that Notre Dame got was on the big play to Mosley. It was a 65-yard screen pass from Koenig. Came at 8:23 of the second quarter. But a pretty dominant half of football for the Falcons of Aquinas. They lead at 21-7 in the battle for the Shielder, as they call it in these parts, the Holy War. We'll step aside for some halftime festivities. We got the cheerleaders coming on. We got some band festivities coming out. And then the second half, we'll reset the first half and then start the second half for you in a moment. Thanks for watching. This is the CIF on Riverside TV. Second half about to get underway here from Rice Stadium, San Bernardino, California. the battle for the Shield, and it was all Aquinas really in the first half. They took the opening drive, and get a look at the Holy Shield right there. The Falcons and the Titans, that's Notre Dame entering the field. And here come the Falcons. Rivalry started back in 1956. A lot of Andrew Kellstrom, but this is Ganem in the first half getting the first touchdown for Aquinas. And then Isaiah Handy. Look at this nice, nifty, shifty run to give Aquinas a 14-0 lead. That came at 10:25 of the second quarter. Notre Dame finally gets on the board. Koenig gets it to Mosley. Tyler Mosley does the rest, 65 yards down the sideline. That came of 8:23 of the second quarter. And then late in the first half, another long drive, 14 plays, 81 yards for Aquinas, capped off by a 5-yard run by Andrew Kellstrom. The Falcons held the ball for 19 minutes and 35 seconds in the first half, Jeff, compared to just 5 minutes and 25 seconds for Notre Dame.
Well, it's a classic game of just keep away. I mean,
Yeah.
you get addition by subtraction, you keep Notre Dame off the field offensively, you're going to win the ball game.
And they just really tighten up. We mentioned that last week they held, Aquinas meaning, held Xavier Prep to negative yards rushing. It was negative 15 for the game. In the first half, Notre Dame, 0 rushing yards.
Oh.
Now, they did have 107 through the air, but they kept that ground game in check, and that's the bread and butter of Aquinas. That's the old-time religion. If you look at the numbers here in the first half, they want to run the ball, and they want to stop the run. They did both in the first half. They ran for over 200 yards, and they held Notre Dame unofficially to 0 yards rushing.
Boy, that's an impressive stat line right there for the Falcons of Aquinas. Let's see if Notre Dame can get that potent offense, which we've seen week after week after week get better and better, to see if they can do something here in the second half.
See what adjustments Jason McMahon's made at halftime, and a small pooch kick will go out of bounds, and there was a contact after, and it's all's good. They slap 5, and all's good on the sideline there. It'll be Notre Dame football. And this is a big drive for Notre Dame. We talked with Jason McMahon. He's the offensive coordinator for Notre Dame before the game, and offense seemed to be coming around. They put up 59 on Rubidoux last week, but Aquinas has really stood strong, and very experienced defense for Aquinas. 9 seniors back from last year. 7 of those were starters. And from the 35-yard line, Notre Dame will start it off here in the second half. Koenig in motion. Here's the give to Achi DeZazzo, trying to get something started on the line, but Vaipulu diving in there along with the big guy Hotets. Hotets and Vaipulu, both the defensive linemen, get in there and drop Achi DeZazzo for a 2-yard loss.
Vaipulu, probably one of the best athletes in the entire area. Quick, strong.
I asked
and
Coach
tough.
Brusig if he's related to the Vaipulu family that we know at Riverside. Is that probably in some way? 2nd and 12 for Notre Dame. Here's Koenig to throw to the outside. Othman with the catch near the first down sticks at the 44-yard line. Instead, that was Koenig, not Othman.
It's going to be 3rd and 1.
So an 11-yard completion. Koenig now 5 of 10 through the air.
4-yard line of the Titans.
Koenig, his second reception. He has 17 yards in receiving yardage. So Othman to the near side. Achi DeZazzo in the backfield with Mosley. Full house. 3 backs. 2nd and short. They'll give it to the big fella, and he'll drive forward for the first down. That's Tyler Mosley coming in. Flag comes in.
And talking about this Notre Dame offense, week to week, you know, they start off scoring 14 versus Xavier Prep. Then they put up 33 in the game we covered versus Hillcrest. Then they go over and they put up 45 on Tustin and 59 at Rubidoux. So they seem to get something going, but they've yet to show tonight, other than that one drive.
So a big 15-yarder called on the Falcons will move the ball to the 39 of Aquinas. A break for Notre Dame. Here's the toss to Mosley. Mosley to the second level, and he'll get pinned down there by Ganson at the 26. Another flag comes in. Let's see what that's all about. Very clean first half, although we did have 7 penalties, but just didn't seem like it was a sloppy game. It was moving fairly quickly, all those long drives, and it'll be a hold on Notre Dame. It'll all come back.
I'll tell you what, though, that Mosley kid, he is electric. You watch him run. He's got breakaway speed. He's a big back. And there he goes, the explosiveness. He is gone almost.
They call him a two-stepper because he's at full speed in 2 steps.
Makes it 1st and 16. Ball is at the 45-yard line.
Line is the 45. Ballister split out near side. Top of your screen is Othament. Also Mosley and Koenig. Here's the give to Achi DeZazzo trying to pick his way. First path is closed. He tries the second effort, and he'll be dragged down. Underneath was Hernandez. Up top, making the tackle was Terrion Sweet. At 3 yards on the play.
And Aquinas showing strength here on the defensive side of the ball tonight. I mean, they are all over it. That front 4 has been dominant on the line of scrimmage here. Letting that secondary just kind of play that zone defense.
Second and long. Mosley trying to find some space. Can't get around his own man. Now he does. Gets the edge. He'll have a first down. Mosley will be wrestled out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. He'll get to about the 28. So a first down. And I guess the missive in the locker room from Jason McMains was, we're going to run the football. 0 yards in the first half. Nobody likes to say it. And it's going to be a turnover. Wow. Mosley lost the football. Aquinas ball. First turnover of the game. Mosley gets to the outside. And right there, Edmonds trying to dispossess him, and he does. He strips the football and just takes it right away from him. Some hand fighting late. I thought the play was over. My bad. And Aquinas snuffs out the drive.
Yeah, good play by Edmond defensively. Just grabbed it. Was in bounds, actually, as he swiped it. And there you go, Falcon ball. Let's see if they can hold the ball for the rest of this quarter. They seem to have done it the first half.
So they turn it over from the 31-yard line.
There's the double wing set that we saw to start the ball game.
Ganson drives up to the 35-yard line. So Ganson had a touchdown earlier. Good, but 3.5-yard gain on first down. Ganson, a senior, one of the captains and a returning starter on the defensive side, gets his snaps on the offensive side as well. This is Kellstrom.
Kellstrom again up the middle.
Kind of crowd surfing to about the 38-yard line. 3 more yards for him. He's well over 100 yards. Had 119 in the first half.
3rd and a long 2.
So ball from the 38-yard line. First down is the 41. 3rd and 3 for Aquinas. A big opportunity here for Notre Dame if they can get the stop and get Aquinas off the field.
Be the first time this evening we've seen him make a stop here.
Tight set. I believe the quarterback kept it. I thought Ortega was the first man through, but Samara kept it. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage on the 4th down. Might have been some confusion there. Samaro now his 3rd carry.
The first time Notre Dame is making Aquinas punt the football here.
Now they lined up to punt in the first half, and they faked it.
Yes, they did, and gained about 15 yards on that play. Let's see if they...
Vaipula the up back. Last time it was Kellstrom. So let's see what happens here. Edmond to kick. Othman back for Notre Dame. And Edmond puts his foot into it. From the 29, Othman. And he's dropped right there. I believe Hernandez made the play for the Falcons of Aquinas. So a good kick. It's a 39-yard kick. Sure.
7 minutes to go and 52 seconds.
And the return up to the 30-yard line for Othament. Both teams came into play tonight ranked in their CIF polls. Aquinas, number 5 in Division 5. See a couple other inland teams on there. And then Notre Dame, number 6. How about Kirk Bruick in Citrus Valley?
I'll tell you what, he's doing wonders at his new school. And I think the biggest surprise of the year is San Jacinto. San Jacinto is undefeated. They played another undefeated team in Temecula Valley tonight.
1st and 10 from the 30. Achi DeZazo gets put down on the backfield. Hotet's there, along with Zion Mathis.
Loss of 2 on the play. 2nd and
I like Eric Galliano. That runs a good program there. They have the Hollowayne, the freshman quarterback from last year's comeback. 2nd year, having a great year for him. And we're talking with Bill Powell about it. He's really high on the talent they have over there. Former head coach at San Jacinto.
Yeah, they are doing a great job, and tonight's going to be a big test. You know, Bert Esposito at Temecula Valley seems to have righted the ship after 23 months of victory.
2nd down, it's complete to Othament.
was complete.
38-yard line. So give it about the 37. So close to a 1st down. They needed to get to the 40.
Yard line for the Titans.
So 6 for 11 through the air. That's the 2nd catch tonight by Othament.
Notre Dame electing to go no huddle.
3rd and 3 from the 37. Toss to Mosley. Mosley gets the corner and into the open field, and Ganson will finally shove him out of bounds inside the 45 at about the 43.
Hanson knocked him out of bounds, not before
So about a 20-yard pickup for Mosley.
1st and 10 at the Falcons' 43-yard line.
Nice adjustment after being shut out on the ground in the first half. Notre Dame has figured something out against this Aquinas defense.
Tell you what they figured out. Give the ball to Mosley. He's quick. He's fast. And he seems to be able to break these tackles. Would have been off to the races if not for that last tackle there.
Had a good opening drive, but turned the ball over. Mosley was stripped by Jeremiah Edmond. Great defensive play by Edmond. 1st down, here's Koenig to throw. Mosley. Mosley knocked out of bounds by Cooper, and there'll be a flag comes in at the end of the play around the 22-yard line.
That's going to be a personal foul. They're going to move the ball even further up.
That's tough. I mean, I know the intent of the rule is to
Yeah.
protect the player. I get it. But I didn't think there was anything that Cooper did on that play that was trying to hurt him.
No, just give the ball to Mosley.
All right. Was that helmet to helmet?
Yeah, that's what they've called.
So the penalty will move the ball down to the 11-yard line. That's the 5th penalty on Aquinas.
1st and 10 at the Falcons' 11-yard line.
41 yards in penalties on Aquinas. So you can get a 1st down at the 1 if you're Notre Dame. Achi DeZazo in motion. Mosley trying to get the corner. And they'll cut back inside. Touchdown. Notre Dame to pay dirt.
Notre Dame.
And why not to Mosley? He's done it all here in this 3rd quarter. Catching the ball, running the ball, explosive, right up the middle for the touchdown.
So the drive started at the 30-yard line of Notre Dame. They drove 70 yards. Mosley capping it off on an 11-yard run was helped on the penalty. June Huang, our good friend on. Mentioned he was an exchange student from South Korea. Came on and played varsity as a freshman. 105 for 116 on PATs in his career. Coming in this year, he was 20 of 22, if you include the first half. Huang to kick. And it's good.
Kick is good.
21-14, so the Notre Dame faithful can breathe a little bit easier. But now the defense needs to go out and stop Aquinas again.
Yeah, they did it a great time here this first drive. We'll see if they can continue to adjust. Tell you what, Aquinas, though, has, like I said, held the ball for 19 minutes in the first half. That's a pretty incredible stat line there. Let's see if Aquinas can give it a 1-2 punch here.
So this has been a good one thus far. The battle for the Shield, the rivalry game, you always like those. We had a couple of great ones last weekend. Smart move by Riverside TV to schedule the rivalry games, I'll tell you, because you always get a lot more spirit going on.
Yeah, we've had 3 great ones in a row.
Cooper and Edmonds to receive. Here's the kick. Edmond. Head of steam, and he'll be piggybacked down over the 40-yard line. So about a 38-yard return up to the 43. Jeremiah Edmond electrifying this crowd here at Rice Stadium. Another look at it.
Brought down by Adam Gorgon.
Wasn't Edmund the brother that got seduced by the White Witch and the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by her Turkish delight?
Against the Falcons.
So there'll be a penalty on the Falcons. Will take the ball back inside the 20. So they'll start the drive at the 18-yard line.
I think you're okay if you're Coach Brusick's okay with that. He says, hey, we got a lot of real estate to work with.
Yeah.
That means a lot of clock we can
They had a 65-yard drive and an 81-yard drive in the first half.
17-yard line.
Falcons led 21-7 at the half. Third quarter score for Notre Dame makes it 21-14. Aquinas now with the football. Give up the middle. Maybe 3. Into the scrum. Ortega on the carry.
We're starting to see Notre Dame here
2nd and 6.
show some strength of that front line. They've put a lot more in the box here in the second half.
We met Jason Lawrence earlier tonight, the defensive coordinator for Notre Dame. Coached with Coach Huerta at Servite. They run the 4-3 option defense, or 4-3 defense. Ganson end around.
Ganson now close to a first down.
He'll get up close to the 30-yard line. At 9 yards on the play. I mean, that looked like a longer run than it looked. It was a longer run than it looked like.
And he's coming up a little lame. Looks like he hurt his leg a little bit. He's going to come out of the ball game.
Another look at the play. Ironman football here from Aquinas. So many of their guys play both ways, and I asked Jordan Brusick about it, and he said, you know, we have enough guys to where we could go 2 platoons. But he says, I want the best guys on the field. And it's more about you need to earn your spot. And they call it a first down, so the sticks will move up. Nice run by Ganson. The idea is if you're not giving your best, then why should I put you out there?
And that's a smart move. A lot of coaches now are electing to not go both ways. That seems to be the wave of the current coaches. But old ball coaches go with the best guys.
1st and 10, line is the 28. Here's Kellstrom. Speaking of a guy, look at him driving and fighting over the 40 for yet another first down.
1st and 10, Falcons at the 41.
Well, you got to be in great condition if you're going to go both ways, and it's obvious they haven't slowed down at all here in the second half. Kind of minor hiccups, but they all seem to be in shape and conditioned as we see that young man plow right up the middle.
And what a game he's had. Already 135 yards for Kellstrom. Hernandez knocked down in the backfield. That was Jaden Rowe making the play.
No gain on that play.
He'll maybe lose a yard as Rowe makes the play on Hernandez. Now has 6 carries for 33 yards.
It'll be 2nd and 10.
Great read defensively there by Notre Dame.
21-14 Aquinas, all their points coming in the first half. Aquinas' defense this year has been stellar. They've had shutouts in 2 of their first 4 games, are allowing under 160 yards per game, and have been pretty stout here tonight. And some movement and some confusion up front. It'll be a false start against Aquinas.
Make it 2nd and 15.
Yeah, that's an amazing stat. 17 points, 4 games. That's pretty darn impressive.
I mean, last year, 8.6 points over the season.
Those are ridiculous numbers.
I mean, all the focus went on Brendan Rankins, and deservedly so. What a year he had. But the Aquinas defense was really up to the task, and a lot of those guys are back this year. That's why they're playing so well. They're on offense, though, here, trying to get another score in this one. 2nd and 15 out of the shotgun. Kellstrom, again, strength into the secondary. Finally bought down at the end. Adam Gorgon got some help from Lance Russell. Got a lot of that penalty yardage back. Pushed all the way out to the 47-yard line. 11 more yards for him.
Yeah, and with Notre Dame being out of the Ambassador League, you'd think Aquinas would basically have a walkthrough in the league. But I'll tell you, another big surprise this year has been ACA's undefeated at 3-0.
Well, that whole league is very good.
Yeah.
Or has been good. 3rd down and about 6. Here's the run from Kellstrom, and he got it. Man, ping-ponged around, pinballed around, and he got through 2 big fellas. He got through Ashley and Marinos.
The Titans' 48-yard line.
There's been some good teams in the Ambassador League. Ontario Christians won a couple CIF championships over the years.
That was just determination on that run. I mean, looking at the standings, Linfield's 4-0, ACA's 4-0, Western Christian 3-0-1, Aquinas 3-1, Desert Christian replaced Notre Dame 3-1, Ontario Christian 2-2. So, I mean, the Ambassador League looking pretty stout in their non-league play. Mark it at the 48 of Notre Dame. It's a 1st and 10 for Aquinas, and a timeout's going to be taken by the Falcons.
Timeout Aquinas.
And Notre Dame going into that tough new Raincross League, which is a super conference. It's kind of tough to figure out who's in which league.
Well, and they got a tough draw because the Sun Belt League games they got, Temescal Canyon, Elsinore, and Arlington, those are the 3 league fellows. But, you know, with the 14 teams, you're going to get 2, the crossover games they call them, or interlocking games. And they got Paloma at Paloma and Valley View at Valley View.
Oh.
Those are 2 tough games to draw, and both on the road.
Valley View CIF champ 2 years ago. Great quarterback, and the senior Barledge is his father.
Dan Barledge.
Dan Barledge is the head coach, and boy, they've had a tough go. They've had a tough preseason schedule, but Paloma Valley always, you know, led the state in scoring. 2 years under Coach Esposito before he went over to Temecula Valley.
First and 10 from the 48 after the timeout. Falcon football. Here's Madero split out to the bottom of your screen. Kellstrom. Again, the first wave. This time they bring him down. Waleski in there. Getting up from the bottom of the pile for Notre Dame.
Ball is at the
Leroy Orozco.
46-yard line.
Getting some time, and Jacob Mercado in there as well. Another yard or 2 on the play for Kellstrom.
And Kellstrom nearly breaks away that time with 5 Titans grabbing him. He still nearly got away.
Kellstrom in the backfield again. Bouncing off would-be tacklers, crosses over the 45. Another gain to about the 43-yard line. Unofficially, 24 carries for Kellstrom, 157 yards. Illegal substitution, looks like they called on Aquinas. So maybe too many men on, is that what it was?
Illegal substitution penalty.
So 5 yards 7th penalty on Aquinas. They've given up 51 yards on penalties. Well, this game has moved very quickly, Jeff. We're into the late third quarter, a minute 25 to play. Aquinas in the first half held the ball for nearly 20 of the 24 minutes in crafting 3 touchdown drives. Notre Dame has drawn closer here with the only score in the second half, but Aquinas now driving a big play here. Now it's 3rd and 10, so the Notre Dame defense could potentially get Aquinas off the field. From the 48, give up the middle. This is Ortega. Ortega dancing around, breaking tackles, and he'll be shoved down at the 20 from behind. I believe Hamlin came up and made the play. A 28-yard pickup by Juan Ortega.
Well, from my naked eye there, it seems he broke 4 tackles that were surefire takedowns by Notre Dame. But do you think the Aquinas running backs learned a little bit from watching Brandon Rankins?
I'm sure they all learned from each other. Another look at it. You know, Coach Brusig, I was asking him about Juan Ortega, and he gave him kind of slyly called him a cement head, meant that in a complimentary way, that he's such a tough kid. 1st and 10 from the 22 for Aquinas. Ganson trying to get the outside. He'll turn the corner, and he'll be shoved out of bounds, but it'll be a penalty flag, and he'll have a first down. Ball moved up to the 10-yard line, so a 12-yard pickup if it stands. But instead, it'll be the 8th penalty on the Falcons. It'll come back. But he said, you know, he's a kid, as a junior last year on the championship team, he was a 5'8", 150-pound kid playing linebacker. And that defense, obviously, you know, there were no shrinking violets on that defense last year, as dominant as they were. But he's a kid you want. He always wants to play, never wants to come off as you look at the play with Ganson. High GPA kid, high motor kid, and just a tough kid you love having on your roster.
Well, just watching these guys all play, I'd love to have any of these guys on my team.
It's interesting. I was talking to Coach Brusig. You know, he played here. And I said, does that help you at all? He's like, you know, I don't know. He said, I look at it as your parents, how your parents want better for you. And I want better for these kids here than when I played, whatever that entails, whatever that means. Whether that means more wins or just a better experience, a more complete experience. And he speaks with that. You know, and it's interesting how it all folds into this Inland Empire football tradition, as it's a first down now back on the 31 after the penalty. And the third quarter will expire, and we'll change sides of the field. 21-14 after 36 minutes. 12 minutes left. We'll learn the location of the shield for the next 12 months, Jeff Gorham.
I'll tell you what, and last year, you know, it held with Aquinas. I have a funny story, is that Notre Dame was playing Aquinas in basketball earlier this year. And here at Aquinas, the shield was in the bleachers, held by none other than St. Brandon Rankins.
Okay.
And he held it the entire ball game in the bleachers. And held it up high the entire time. Notre Dame went on to beat them, but the shield remained with Aquinas.
That's interesting. I had a conversation earlier this week with Press Enterprise Jim Alexander, one of the great writers in the Inland Empire.
The scribe.
He is a Notre Dame alum. And I didn't believe it when he told me, but he said, you know, when I was at Notre Dame, I did play basketball at the JV level. And he said back then, this is in the late 60s, early 70s, that Notre Dame dominated the football series, but Aquinas dominated the basketball series.
Well, basketball, Notre Dame wasn't good. They were okay, but they were really good when Mike Vanta came in the 80s. They went to the CIF championship, lost, but went to the championship.
First down from the 31. Kellstrom right up the gut. He'll spin down at the 21-yard line. Cameron Ashley will tackle him. He'll gain back most of the penalty yardage. It'll be second down.
And now you look at Notre Dame, and they are a Southern California power, coached by Coach Robinson. He's got himself another CIF contender. They were CIF champs last year.
They're not going to beat Yancey Dotson, though, will they?
That is the one game I definitely want to watch. Same league. That will be a great battle to see them, Rancho Verde and Poly, go at it.
Second and 10, Kellstrom. Dancing. Ashley, I believe, brings him down
Gain
again
about 3 on the play.
inside the 20.
It's going to bring up 3rd and 7.
And while I can, I got to give some kudos to the offensive line for Aquinas. The freshman Trey Brooks, Sam McMaster stepping up, Melosi Cianaya, Michael Hotets, and Zion Mathis just doing a tremendous job up front tonight. Their running game. Second down. I believe it's 3rd down instead. Here's the give to Handy. He's cut down. They're saying, Notre Dame is saying they have the football. The ball came loose. But it looks like the officials are going to make it just 4th down. Ball down to the 16-yard line. 2 more yards for Handy. Whenever I see Handy run, he's got 4 carries for 29 yards. I think of Mark Cohn's walking in Memphis because he talks about W.C. Handy. No relation, but 4th and 5 coming up, and they're going to go to the field goal. Medeiros will hold. Josiah Perez will kick.
34-yard field goal attempt.
From the 24, it'll be 34 yards. $9:50 to play. 21-14. They're going to try to make it a 2-score game. Here's the kick. It is good.
The kick is good.
So Perez with a 34-yard field goal will toss it down to the field to J.R. Ibarra.
Okay, guys, I'm here with the athletic director for Aquinas, Chris Ibarra. We're just kind of figuring out if we're long-lost cousins or something. But, Chris, you actually had a hand in bringing Coach Brusick here to Aquinas. He was a former student, former assistant, and made his way up to the head coaching. Talk about his trek here.
You know, he's an alum. He actually, when I came and took over as the athletic director, he was one of my students. Then he went off to college, was successful. And then he came back, and I was lucky enough to get him on staff. And he was my defensive coordinator. And then, you know, when I decided I was kind of done and going to step down, it was an easy transition. He had played for Coach Henderson when he was here and came back. And as an alum, you know, and a young guy, he's got that fire and that passion. He works extremely hard and does a great job with the kids. And him and his staff, you know, they work extremely hard in getting prepared for the games.
Yeah, that's what I was impressed with in talking to him before the game, that the passion he brings, you can really see it comes out of him as he relates to his players.
Oh, yeah. You know, one of the things is he's a real fiery guy, and his kids feed off that. But, you know, he doesn't leave any stone unturned, and he really gets the most out of his guys, you know. And that's a testament to him and his staff and the work ethic. And you know what? I'm just extremely excited and proud of him, and it's nice to see how successful he's been the last 2-3 years.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, guys, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, JR. I was wondering if there was any relation there. While we were away, Ashton Othament returned the kickoff to the 35, and we're going to tack on a 15-yard personal foul, which is going to be the 8th penalty against Aquinas that'll move the ball to midfield. So the field goal from 34 yards out by Perez culminates in 11-play, 65-yard drive that chewed up another 8 minutes and 22 seconds, just going back to that old-time religion, that ball control for the Falcons.
And that just shows you how good Coach Brusick is and how dedicated his guys are to buying into his program. That's great play calling.
Koenig, Ashi DeZazo trying to get the corner. Hurdles up and he's knocked down. What a play. Ranging sideline to sideline. The defensive end, Michael Hotets, makes the play. The senior, 6'1", 235-pounder. He just had a beat on Ache DeZazo and chased him down.
And DeZazo, a huge man. Christian Okoye type size there.
Customer's down, appears with a cramp.
I mean, he's tall. You know, there are not many tall running backs anymore. I remember when we were kids, it was Eric Dickerson was like 6'3", and he played tailback, but you don't see the big guys playing tailback anymore.
That shows the confidence that Coach Huerta, Coach McMains have in this young man.
Alejandro Achi DeZazo.
Sounds like a...
That's a name you want to hear Ricardo Montalban say.
Exactly. Sounds like a Bond villain, actually.
9:15 to play in regulation. Sorry, I'm looking for our little PSA card. It kind of slipped away from me, but we'll figure it out. Oh, here it is. While we have a break, I can tell you, with Hurricane Florence making news on the East Coast, now is the perfect time to learn to be prepared for a natural disaster. As part of National Preparedness Month, the City of Riverside holds its 7th annual Emergency Preparedness Fair tomorrow, Saturday, September 15th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Galleria at Tyler, south of JCPenney. Come and check out public safety and local community resources, learn hands-on CPR, canine demos, and get a look at fire engines and FEMA search and rescue vehicles. That's tomorrow at the Galleria at Tyler from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Remember, disasters happen. Prepare now, learn how. For more information on how you can prepare for a natural disaster, visit readyriverside.org.
I'll be there.
With Fast Johnny. 2nd and 8 for Notre Dame from the 48 of Aquinas. Time for Koenig. Looking for Jaden Rowe down the sideline. Incomplete. Cooper was very close on that play. Made a nice play on the football. Incomplete.
Yeah, Ethan Cooper there nearly jumped the route, and there would have been nobody between him if he'd have got that ball. Been right at the left sideline.
That's why you hear coaches, offensive coaches, tell you to put air under the ball, because then it's hard to jump the route. You got to kind of wait on the football, and that allows the receiver some extra time. Ball falls incomplete. 3rd and 8 for Notre Dame from the 48. Big play for the Aquinas defense. Koenig in motion. Give. Play action. They're going to flare it out instead to Aiden Koenig. Koenig, after the catch, will get up over the 45 to maybe the 44-yard line, so another 4 yards on the short hookup. So Koenig now 8 of 14 through the air for 151 yards.
Good play action there. My only concern is when they run that play is if it's a lateral pass. You better throw a BB on that. It better get out of bounds if you miss it.
So here we go. 24-14, and Notre Dame will go for it with just 8 minutes or so remaining in this ball game. Koenig back to throw. Has time. Over the middle. Incomplete.
Pass incomplete. Falcons take over.
Ballister was the intended receiver on the coverage for Aquinas. Miguel Hernandez, a returning starter from last year, and the ball goes over on downs to Aquinas.
Notre Dame gambled there on 4th down. You almost have to with Aquinas, the way they've held the ball all night long.
That's true.
Got to go for it.
They're holding it like Lionel Richie, man.
All night long.
8:15 to play in this one. 4th quarter, 24-14. J.R. Ibarra has an injury update for us from the sideline.
Yeah, guys, just briefly, Andrew Kelsham seems to be okay. He was just simply cramping up, and it is still pretty warm down here. I'm looking at the temperature. We're still looking at the low 80s here, even this late at night. So it looks like he'll be back into the ball game here in the rest of the half. Back to you guys.
Ortega, first man through, a short gain for him. He's got 51 yards on 6 carries. It'll bring up 2nd and 9.
It is a bit warm. You and I are up here in this press box, and I've been asking you to throw water on the sauna rocks all night, and you're looking pretty skinny tonight after this.
We have those sponges here. We're just kind of rubbing. It's easy for you because you don't have any hair on your head. You can just rub it on your head.
A little warm up here.
2nd and 8. Line is the 46 of Aquinas. Tailback, this is Handy. Works his way through a tackle, but the second wave comes for Notre Dame. Jaden Rowe coming over top to make the hit over the 45 to about the 47. 5 carries for Handy. He's got 30 yards on the ground, including a 24-yard touchdown run.
Great defensive effort there by the Titans as they just funneled inside, and good stop here.
3rd down, line to get is the 46 on the Notre Dame side of the field. Samara will throw it to Cooper. Jalen Cooper has a first down. Cooper weaving his way into Notre Dame territory before Lance Russell wrestles him down at the 41-yard line. A 10-yard pickup on the pass from Samara to Cooper. And it'll all come back after all that's said and done. Jalen Cooper, a sophomore, older brother is the cornerback Anthony Cooper. But Jalen, very talented athlete. Coach Brusig likes him a lot, trying to get him a taste this year. One of the younger guys on the club. Ball moves back to the 39-yard line of Aquinas. So they will need to go 14 yards to the Notre Dame side of the field. Actually make it 15. It's 3rd and 15. After the penalty. 10th penalty on Aquinas. 4 receivers in the set. The throw out to Edmond. Ball on the turf, incomplete. They're going to say it's a forward pass, and it's a 4th down. First incompletion of the night for Diego Samaro. He'd been 3 of 3 prior to that. And the punt team comes on for Aquinas. So here we go. This was going to come down to a big drive for Notre Dame, because they'll need to, it's imperative they score on this drive because they're going to try to get the ball back from Aquinas. 24-14, 6:22 to play in the ball game. Jeremiah Edmond has been very good today in a variety of phases for Aquinas. He booms this one, and Otherman catches it inside the 20 and not much more.
Immediately stopped by the Falcons. Titans will have the ball 1st and 10.
43-yard kick, 2-yard return.
6 minutes and 13 seconds.
And Notre Dame will start from the 20-yard line with 6:13 to play in regulation.
I'll tell you what, if I'm Notre Dame, I'm going to go all in on Mosley and Otherman. Those have been the two studs.
Play a little 2-minute drill. Is that what you're going to do here?
That's it. You got to score quickly here.
Last year, after losing 5 in a row, Aquinas wrested the shield from the Titans, and they want to give it a home. They want to keep it. They don't want to give it back. 24-14, Aquinas leads. Koenig looking to the sideline. They shuffle it off to Aiden Koenig. Koenig has got some space up the middle. The quick hitter out to the 30-yard line, close to a 1st down.
That's a cool play there. I wonder if the brothers do that in their house.
That's like a backyard play, right?
That was
I bet you and Johnny Gorham did that a little bit when you were young.
Practice nonstop that play. That was a great little play there from brother to brother.
All the way to the 34, a 1st and 10.
Flag.
And now a penalty flag has come in late. Let's see what they're going to say. The officials caucusing. Umpire today is Pete Jimenez, and it's going to come back, looks like.
Flag is against
Illegal man downfield is a signal. So the flag against Notre Dame. 6th penalty on the Titans.
And that puts them in a deep hole here.
The 1st and 15. Titans have the ball at the 11-yard line.
Well, the ball, it's a 1st and 20 because they need to get up to the 31. Koenig to swing it out to Mosley, and what a play by Ganson. Ganson with a great tackle there in the open field to drop Mosley for a loss. That's the senior experience and the senior leadership from Gary Ganson. Had that play snuffed out immediately. Was the 2nd leading tackler last year, 23 tackles this year, including 12 solos, and that was a big one.
That was huge. I'll tell you what, if he doesn't make that tackle, it is off to the races there from Mosley.
Well, just because there was so much space for Mosley to work with. 2nd and 11 from the 10 is a 1-yard loss on the play. Koenig on the move. Down the field, incomplete. Justice Robinson and Austin Otherman were both in the vicinity. So he's now 9 of 16 through the air.
We're going to have 3rd and about 22.
They're going to have to go in the air on this play as well.
Now, if you don't make yardage here with 5 minutes to play, knowing that Aquinas can hold it, do you go for it on 4th down? You got to punt it deep in your territory, though, right?
Yeah, that's a tough call, just because Aquinas has held the ball for so long. And under these circumstances, I don't think they're going to, Aquinas is going to go above and beyond to make the big play.
Third and very long. This is Koenig trying to make it up with his feet. He's got space. He needs to get to the 31, and he'll get out of bounds very close to the first down.
Can be very close to a first down.
So Koenig making the play with his feet, about 20 yards on that scamper.
Big play by Koenig there. Let's see if it was enough to get out of bounds for that first down.
Vaipulu coming on the rush. I mean, I'd imagine now you go for it, right? It's 4th and 1. Aaron Huerta very complimentary about Rodney Koenig and just said, you know, for a young kid, he's all business. I mean, he's a senior, but, you know, Coach Huerta got the job, and it was a basketball game going on, your buddy Rob Robinson coaching, and he said Koenig came up to him at the basketball game, introduced himself, and was ready to get going. And he said, you know, Koenig's one of those kids you love because he's the what else can I do kid. And he proved it on that play. He's been throwing the ball all game. What else can he do? Well, he can scamper up for a first down. And they did say a first down. The measurement came out, and it's a first down for Notre Dame. There is an injured Falcon.
It looks like it's Vaipulu is down in the end zone. It looks like he might be cramping.
Malachi Vaipulu. Well, when we came out here, it was pretty stifling, the heat, that is. I think you and I were worried about cramping. You went back to the car to get your pickle juice.
I drank a big gulp of pickle juice. I'm ready to go. You and I have been through about 10 water bottles up here.
So good to see Vaipulu walking off under his own power. Very good high school football game tonight, no matter who wins, right, Jeff?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, this is what rivalries are made of, and these are two well-coached teams. Very few mistakes tonight on the field. A few penalties called, but other than that, a pretty solid game by both teams.
Bounce back from Notre Dame last year. Aquinas dominated them pretty thoroughly back on October 6th. Mosley slips one tackle, and he can't quite get the edge. I believe that was Cooper on the outside. Well, instead that was Kellstrom. How about that? He's all over the place. Kellstrom bringing up yardage and making tackles. Gets by Montenegro, which isn't easy. And then, yeah, Andrew Kellstrom brought him down.
Kellstrom in his oversized T-shirt underneath his jersey. Pretty easy to spot on the field.
So a flag came out, but I guess they're going to waive the penalty off.
If we want to accept the penalty or decline it.
Looks like guys are cramping up all over the field. And Jeremiah Edmond down on the field stretching out.
Pete Jimenez sending attack with having a talk with Brusick. It's a hold, so it'll be called on Notre Dame, and it'll come back. Seventh penalty on Notre Dame, 51 yards assessed against the Titans. The ball will come back to the 20-yard line.
Looks like there's another Falcon player down, cramping up. Looks like.
So 4:57 to play in regulation, 24-14. Aquinas fairly dominant in the first half, Jeff. They held Notre Dame to 0 yards rushing. They were up 21-7, but it was the one big play by Mosley that kept the Titans in the ball game. At 21-7, they've scored the only touchdown of the third quarter, and now we're here into the fourth quarter, a field goal added on by Aquinas, and now Notre Dame gets back to the offense. Trips to the left side. Koenig to throw. He's going to load it up down the field. He's got his man. Othament makes the catch and is down at the 30-yard line.
60-yard pass. Complete.
Ashton Othament makes the catch. 50-yard completion.
Big-time players make big-time plays. Isn't that what you always say?
That's what Santana Moss said, and he was right. And Ashton Othman made a huge play there. He had a big touchdown last year in this game, and now he flips the field. 1st and 10 from the 30. Back in business are the Titans, and now flags fly. But that's what you need. You had the senior Koenig make a big play on 3rd down. False start on Notre Dame. It'll be their 8th penalty. And then you have the seniors hook up Koenig to Othman for the big 50-yard pickup to flip the field. The ball moves back to the 35-yard line, and now Aquinas will call timeout. And that's what Coach Brusig talked about with J.R. Ibarra at the half. We don't want to give up big plays.
Yeah, and they've done that a couple times in this second half. And I think, guys cramping up, I think their condition might be a little tired. Might be a good call by Coach Brusig to call timeout and let this defensive coordinator kind of get his guys and reel them in as Notre Dame is looking to strike here.
Notre Dame trying to get a little bit closer. They already trail by 2 scores, trying to make it a 1-score game. Defensive coordinator for Aquinas is Jake Henderson. His brother Josh is now the head coach at Grace Brethren, was the head coach here at Aquinas when Jordan Brusig was a player. And Josh Henderson, who won 2 CIF championships for Aquinas in 2005 and 2000, he is part of the Bruick. He played at Fontana and is part of that whole Dick Bruick coaching tree.
Isn't every coach in the Inland Empire part of the Dick Bruick coaching tree?
Like it's when I find out that. I used to be happy when I would find that stuff out. Now I'm just not surprised. I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Worked with Pat McCarthy as an assistant back in the day on the Fontana staff. Actually, no, it was a player when Pat McCarthy was the assistant over there. 1st and 15 for Notre Dame from the 35. Ballister to the bottom of the screen. Flag. Encroachment on the defense.
Against Aquinas. Bring it back to the original line of scrimmage. Where it's gonna
The fans here getting a little agitated.
The home side always does, though.
They're playing for a shield, Gazal.
They are. Play fake. Koenig. Buying time. Throwing. Coming back to the football was Ballister, but a good play outside by Cooper. Anthony Cooper covers a lot of ground as a defensive back. Wears 21, reminiscent of a Deion Sanders when he was patrolling the defensive backfield in the NFL. Koenig now 10 of 18 through the air, 207 yards, 2nd and 10. Mosley in motion. Here's the throw. Koenig over the middle. Complete, but right on top of that is Terrion Sweet. So Koenig, the younger Koenig, catches the ball at the 25-yard line. And Terrion Sweet over the top stops him.
And Notre Dame with 3 timeouts still here. They can.
3:44 to play, clock ticking. 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen. Ballister split out wide. In the middle is Justice Robinson. And whistles and flags.
timeout Falcons.
Ontario Christian went on to get a victory tonight versus Valley Christian.
Big win for them. They're now 3-2 in their non-league schedule. Ambassador League starts next week for a lot of teams.
And the Ramona Rams in the big crosstown oldest rivalry in the Riverside School District is up big over Riverside Poly 52-25.
Ken Mashinsky's done a fantastic job at Ramona resurrecting that. Well, not resurrecting. I mean, Vinny Fazio left a lot on the cupboard. But they've been impressive. We saw them last week against Arlington, and now they followed it up with a really big performance against another intra-city rival.
Couple other big scores. Redlands East Valley down big to Norco, 45-24.
Norco is so tough. Feel bad for Rich Lunsford.
I tell you what, they had Nick Lasher last year, who was an All-CIF quarterback, is now not the quarterback, is the backup to Jake Illingsworth.
Near slot Robinson. Split out to the near side is Ballister. Far side, Othman stacked with Koenig. And then Mosley is flexed out on the near side. So empty set here. 3rd and 5 from the 25. Need to get to the 20 for a first down. Koenig to throw. Here comes pressure over the middle. Complete. Safety blanket. Aiden Koenig down to the 15-yard line. 12 for 20 through the air now is Koenig. The younger Koenig with his 5th reception on the evening, 38 yards. So moving towards 3 minutes remaining. Empty backfield. Koenig to throw. Step it up in the pocket. Koenig flung down at about the 10, so a 5-yard pickup on the ground for Koenig. And the biggest play he made, Jeff, may have been that big 22-yard run on 3rd down.
Big run and a big pass to Othman, and continues to keep the Titans alive here in the 4th quarter. Can make this a very tight ball game. Then it becomes kind of a poker game. Onside kick, try to recover. Because, you know, if you give the ball to the Falcons here with just under 3 minutes to play, you know they can hold the ball. We've seen it in the first half.
Last year's Aquinas team proved to be great Falcons. What other great Falcons are there? Well, there's the Atlanta Falcons, obviously. Even back in the Bill Fralick days, you know, when they were actually good. We talked about the Blue Falcon already. The Millennium Falcon.
I was just going to go. The Millennium Falcon is the most famous of all Falcons.
And then the Falcon and the Snowman. You know, we talked about that earlier.
Oh, brutal.
Sean Penn and Tim Hutton.
Brutal movie.
Great soundtrack, though.
Yes.
2nd and 6. Line is the 12. Koenig to throw. Lofts corner of the end zone. Jump ball, incomplete. Ballister was the intended target. Miguel Hernandez on the coverage. So it'll bring up 3rd down. Good shot at the end zone. Jason McMains, the offensive coordinator for Notre Dame, trying to get the points right there.
And a good pass through right over the left shoulder to the outside. Perfect pass. Just came up, dropped the ball. But a good play call there by Jason McMains.
Player down. Looks like for Notre Dame. Timeout on the field, 2:56 to play. Next week we're back at Novi, Norte Vista and Norwalk, correct?
Smash Mouth football. Big win by Norte Vista last night.
Over Corona, right? A big 18.
And it's a little bit of a revenge for Ken Batdorf after losing to Ron Geringer in the CIF Championship 2 seasons ago at San G.
San Gorgonio, you're correct. Is Malesio back next week? Do they hold him out another week?
I'm going to have to tell you that he will probably be out 1 more week.
It's the safe way to go.
Saving for league, we've seen 2 teams kind of starting to separate themselves in the River Valley League. Ramona High School being the big surprise, and Norte Vista with a couple big wins under their belt, and a tough loss at Temecula Valley.
I think the player injured might have been Othman because he's not on the field right now. 2-by-2 for Notre Dame. Koenig and Mosley up top. Down at the bottom is Justice Robinson and Sebastian Ballister. That is Othman walking off under his own power. Good to see. Jaden Rowe is the single back on 3rd and 6. Third down. Sack. Big play by Zion Mathis. Mathis last week had a big game, and on the season he had 2 sacks, and there's going to be a flag on the play, and the home crowd just not going to like that.
I think they're going to call it on celebrating as he gets the sack. And there you go.
And now Jordan Brusig is wondering what's going on. I mean, did he extend the celebration? I mean, what I saw wasn't anything
I don't think it
over
was
the top.
It wasn't overtly.
So a huge penalty will give a first down to Notre Dame.
Should be fourth down.
Half the distance.
Fourth down and about 5.
There's some confusion because the personal foul normally is a 15-yard mark-off. They marked off half the distance, and I guess half the distance wasn't enough for the first down. So they have fourth down on the board, but the chain gang has third down up.
And if they move it to the fourth down.
Okay. So they're going to give the down, and now you kick the field goal with June Huang, right? And then you onside kick it, obviously. It's a two-score game, 24-14. And here comes June Huang. He'll try to kick a 27-yard field goal.
Go for the field goal.
Huang, for his career, is 21 of 30, 70%er. His longest career field goal was 38. He's 2 for 2 this year. Out of the hold of Aiden Koenig. Huang booms it, has the distance, and just gets over. I thought it might kick wide left, and it's 24-17 in favor of Aquinas, and now it's just a matter of the onside kick here.
Yeah, if you're Aquinas, you got to pull your troops together and say, look, it's coming at you. Just land on the ball. Don't be a hero. And if you're Notre Dame, you got to say, we're going to kick it. Try to bounce it off somebody. We've seen it the last couple of weeks here on Riverside TV, Game of the Week. See if Notre Dame can come up with the ball and bring this to its final conclusion here with 2:24 left in the ball game. Gazal.
So 8 plays, 70 yards on that drive, culminating in the 27-yard field goal. There was a bunch of penalties. It was about 3 minutes and 51 seconds on the drive for Notre Dame, and they're within 1 score. So a huge opportunity here. Anticipating the onside kick, I believe the hands team is on for Aquinas. Been a good one, the battle for the shield. Aquinas took control in the first half, but Notre Dame kind of nudging themselves back into this game here on the second half.
Yeah, Notre Dame making the good adjustments in the second half, and we saw the Koenig brothers, Othman and Mosley, have been dynamite in the second half.
It's a squibber. A two-hopper. It's a weird one. It was kind of a not quite an onside. Just trying to maybe kick a knuckleball and see if you can get a bounce.
And that's exactly what happened. I think when that second bounce hit, the ball was up high in the air, and Aquinas landed on it. Young man took a hit, though, as he caught it. As we look at the replay here.
So 2:21 to play in the ball game, a 7-point lead for Aquinas. And Notre Dame's got to get a stop. We had a crazy one last Saturday. Let's see what happens here. Kellstrom pounding inside between the tackles to the 40. 5 yards for Kellstrom.
As they go to back to that double wing set there, Gazal. And Notre Dame's smart here as they chew up a timeout with 2 left.
So Notre Dame, I believe, has all their timeouts here in the second half. So they can use 3 timeouts. They're going to stop the clock as often as they can. 5-yard pickup to the 40-yard line for Kellstrom. Talked earlier about Bishop Charles F. Buddy, who founded both of these schools out of the Archdiocese of San Diego. In 1978, the Archdiocese of San Bernardino split off from San Diego, and it assumed stewardship of both schools. And since then, 1956 was the first game, but 1978, it really became an area rivalry. Some more info on Bishop Buddy. I mentioned he founded the University of San Diego, served as president of USD, 1950 to 66, and he was the Bishop of San Diego from 1936 to 1966, succeeded by Bishop Francis Fury, passed away in the city of Banning.
Wow. Charles Buddy.
Kellstrom again stopped. I think Cameron Ashley got in there, got inside the 38. Timeout again, Notre Dame with 2:09 to play. It'll be a third down play. 2 more yards on the play for Kellstrom. What a game for Kellstrom. 28 carries, 178 yards for the senior.
Not too bad, and he's been everywhere on defense as well.
Good defensive player, two-way player. He's a captain. Came in with 55 carries on the year, 362 yards, and 3 TDs. He's added a 4th. Playing varsity since his freshman year. 30th game of his career with 170-some yards. He creeps up to 990 yards for his career and 9 career touchdowns. And then defensively, coming into the game, he had 169 career tackles in 29 games, 5 interceptions, 4 fumble recoveries, and 3 sacks. So a really good career here at Aquinas for Andrew Kellstrom.
Yeah, not too bad considering you have the best running back in the area.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is you were a solid two-way player for 3 years. The bad news is you're playing behind Brandon Rankins.
Well, a great stat line, even considering playing behind Brandon Rankins.
Brandon Rankins, if you didn't remember, for his career, 50 games, 895 carries, 8,745 yards. So he averaged nearly 10 yards a pop. 4,300-yard games, and we already talked about earlier, 106 touchdowns in 4 years. That's huge.
Just think of this, 50 games. That's the equivalent of a 5-year career in 4.
Here's the give. Kellstrom fights over midfield to the 45 for a first down. That could seal the deal on the 13-yard run.
Well, Kellstrom, nothing was stopping this young man on this play. Running off that double wing. Saw that left tackle, right off tackle. House left.
29 carries, 191 yards, and that's just Aquinas playing Aquinas football. The big boys line it up, they smash into you, and somebody runs behind them. Clock moving. No timeouts left for Notre Dame. This is Ortega. Right up the gut. He is to the house. Juan Ortega takes it 46 yards. Touchdown, Aquinas.
We saw that play, exact play, early in the ball game in this first half. A gain of about 15, but that one right there, that changed the complete complexity of this ball game, Gazal.
Ortega now with 97 yards on 7 carries and a big play. Another senior, another guy who played on that championship team last year. Came into the game with 11 carries for 78 yards, had 2 touchdowns. That's number 3 for him. And make it 31-17, back to a 2-touchdown lead for the Falcons.
Great play call in there. Basic smash mouth football. And when you have a quick back and a very, very strong offensive line, you're going to get a hole like that occasionally. And they bit and they found that hole. And he was untouched, unscathed.
Juan Ortega just made the Kessel run in under 12 parsecs, Jeff Warren.
He definitely made it under 12 I'd say closer to 5. Because that's all it took him to go 50-plus yards. He was a super fast.
We just did. Kellstrom and Ortega, between the two of them, have amassed nearly 300 yards rushing on the night. They're both captains. They're both seniors. They both understand what's at stake here. They both played on the 2017 CIF championship team for Aquinas, and they want to get another one. They want to get their own ring.
You know what? There is something to be said about learning how to win. They've learned how to win, and they can continue to do so. Without the greatest player in school's history, they've gone on. They can show that they are going to be just as successful without him. Addition by subtraction.
Perez to kick it away. Squibs it. I believe that was LaQuesta fielding it. And he'll get to the 35. But what it shows was Aquinas was a team. It wasn't just Brandon Rankins. They were a team last year, and they play as a team this year, and they've had so many different contributors on this team. You know, and that's the whole thing is this senior class, they grew up playing in championships. They played in the final in 16. They played in the final last year, and they want to get back this year. And when I say their own, I don't mean that last year wasn't their own, because of course it was. But when you're a senior, and you know this, Jeff, it's special when you can win your senior year.
Yeah, it is special. They are a very complete ball club.
Koenig to Mosley, Mosley to midfield. He'll be ridden down by Montenegro at the 50. Clock stops as they're a first down, 14-yard pickup on the play.
But yeah, in the past, I mean, everybody talked about Brandon Rankins just because of the ridiculous numbers he put up. These guys right now are showing their worth and showing that they can get it done.
Koenig, pressure, avoids Vaipulu. He'll launch it down the field, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Cooper. Anthony Cooper may have just sealed the deal for Aquinas. Roaming the defensive backfield, nearly had one a couple of drives earlier. He got that one, and it may be the coup de grace for the Falcons.
Well, the Falcons showed zone defense in that secondary, and they threw it right to him. Smart defensive call by Aquinas.
As you folks are exiting, if you could pick up all of the trash around your area, that would certainly help.
Cooper with the pick and bringing it back. Little prime in him. Little prime in him. We're in that number 21. So Anthony Cooper picks it off, takes it to 21st and prime, and now the Falcon offense will just try to close it out. We got victory formation for Aquinas.
In good sportsmanship, Aquinas takes a knee.
31-17 with under a minute to play, and the clock will tick off, and the Shield will remain in San Bernardino. And this is my first battle for the Shield that I've called, and there was a great atmosphere tonight, Jeff, here at Rice Stadium. Congratulations to the Aquinas Falcons. They came out, they had a plan to do a job, and they did the job.
They definitely did the job. You play in front of a packed house. They bring in extra bleachers for this ball game. It was my first time watching this. A fun one. Two very good ball clubs that are going to do great in their respective leagues. Just one played a little bit better and controlled the ball control for the most of the game. That's Aquinas.
First loss for Aaron Huerta and for Notre Dame here in 2018. It comes in their rivalry game, the Battle for the Shield, and the teams will shake hands at the half as the clock expires. 31-17, Aquinas with the victory over Notre Dame here on Riverside TV.
Your final score, Aquinas 31, Notre Dame 17. The Shield stays at Aquinas.
The two schools, both founded by Bishop Charles F. Buddy, playing since 1956. Couple of numbers for you. How about Andrew Kellstrom? 29 carries, 191 yards for him, including a touchdown. Also, Juan Ortega, 7 carries for him, 97 yards, and that 46-yard touchdown run that was able to seal the deal. Tyler Mosley had a big game for Notre Dame as well. He caught 4 passes for 102 yards, also ran the ball 6 times for 46 yards. But in the end, that first half really set the tone for Aquinas. Smash mouth football and then some. They held the ball for nearly 20 of the first 24 minutes of the ball game, and they staked themselves to a 21-7 lead. And that's almost like a 42-7 lead for other people, the way these Falcons play defense.
Well, they just played smart. And a lot of people don't realize when you don't have to be spectacular, you don't need to make giant plays. They just played smart football offensively and defensively. You talked about the offense carrying it for nearly 20 minutes in that first half. Well, I'll tell you what, Notre Dame came out and made adjustments, got better. But Aquinas really, really came out and played smart football.
We'll run through the replays. I mean, really, and you give credit to Notre Dame because in the first 4 games of the season, Aquinas had given up just 17 points. Notre Dame put 17 on the board here on this one, and just Aquinas was a little bit more prepared, a little bit better. They had a little bit more of an edge tonight, and you know that Aaron Huerta and his coaching staff and his players are going to go back, and they're going to build on this one. They got plenty of football to play. The Sun Belt League is definitely a goal. We're going to have the finale of their Arlington finale on Riverside TV. We'll see them again in Week 10. But I think the Riverside, the Titans of Notre Dame, are a pretty good football team. And I think just Aquinas is a little bit better tonight. But we'll see how Notre Dame progresses forward. I think there's definitely some things they can build on what we saw this evening.
Well, you got to be happy if you're Coach Huerta, because they've had, we saw glimpses of Othman, Koenig, and Mosley. Those guys were phenomenal, and they're only going to get better as they get into the league. And that league's going to be tough, but I think Notre Dame's up to the task.
Get a look at Mosley there on the touchdown run, and now we'll toss it down to the field. J.R. Ibarra standing by with Coach Brusig.
Let's give a big hand.
Coach, it may not be a playoff or a league win, but it is a big win for you guys.
Yeah, this game at Notre Dame's always like a playoff game. What a hell of a team they have, man. Unbelievable.
They put up quite a fight in the second half there.
Yeah, they came out ready to go, which was exactly what we expected. Those guys aren't going to roll over and die. They battled their butts off, man. You guys wanted a good game, and you got one.
What are the positives that you guys can take away now that you're headed towards league play?
I think that, our guys, they focus a lot on the details and the small things that we got to do so that when we get into games like this, when they know what we're going to do and we know what they're going to do, it's who's going to rely on their fundamentals. And their coach said it. It's about toughness, and both these teams really have it.
As you get into league play, are you going to make any major adjustments and major changes within your scheme at all?
No, we are who we are. Yeah, we're that's who we are.
All right, congrats, Coach.
Thanks, man.
Good win, good win. All right, the little one's here to congratulate Dad, or congratulate Uncle, I should say. So a good win here for Aquinas as they head off into league play. A very hard-fought battle by Notre Dame. They put up a very good fight here in the second half. Very good football that we enjoyed here, and I hope you all enjoyed it here on a great Friday night. Guys, we'll send it back up to you.
Thanks, JR. Congratulations again to Coach Brusig and the Falcons for their 31-17 win. We already mentioned Ortega and we mentioned Kellstrom. How about the work of the offensive line tonight? I know you always like giving the big guys the love. Trey Brooks, Sam McMaster, Malosi Cianea, Michael Hotets, and Zion Mathis did such a great job up front, and they really controlled the line of scrimmage for probably 3/4 of that game.
Well, he did, and that's why they were able to hold the ball for 19-plus minutes in that first half. You got to credit those guys up front. But I'll tell you what, they ran a smart offense. We saw a lot of different sets. We saw a wildcat double wing spread, a little pistol. We saw it all.
We have Andrew Kellstrom down on the field with J.R. Ibarra. Let's toss it down to him.
All right, here with the leading running back, Andrew Kellstrom. Andrew, another fine outing for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What was it that was the secret? You guys really were very effective with a run tonight.
Yeah, it was the line for sure. They're blocking and they're doing great. Really good.
And obviously this is your bread and butter. The running game is what Aquinas is all about.
Yes, sir. We like to keep the ball as much as we can and keep the other team off of offense.
I know you're kind of cramping up there in the second half. Is everything looking okay for you physically?
Yeah, I was just playing really hard and it happened. So, yeah, I'll drink more water next game. Yeah.
As you guys look towards league play, what kind of things do you now build upon with a big win like this?
Well, we got to work on our defense for sure and just keep capitalizing on offense and we'll be good.
All right, awfully good night for you. I think you were just shy of 200 yards, so a very, very effective night of running the football.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, congrats.
Thank you.
All right, Andrew Kellstrom, leading running back here for Aquinas. Obviously a very effective way of showing the offensive power by Aquinas tonight, as that is their bread and butter that they go to each and every week. So as they head into league play, you got to believe that this team has some really great momentum with this type of win tonight. Guys, we'll send it back up to you.
Thanks, JR. Yeah, the ball control that we talked about in the first half is really how Aquinas works. And while they have guys healthy, they have a multitude of guys. You can run the ball with, we saw Hernandez run a little bit today. Obviously, Kellstrom. And then Ortega was kind of the closer at the end. He was kind of the physical runner. And then Isaac Handy had a touchdown run. That's the other thing about Aquinas. They come at you in so many different ways.
Yeah, and they had a lot of weapons. Like you said, Handy had a phenomenal run in that first half. Quick as lightning. But I'll tell you what, they just all seem to buy into what Coach talk to them. The small details lead to wins, and those wins lead to championships.
On the defensive side, the big three up front, Hotes, Vaipulu, Mathis, they did a great job against a pretty robust Notre Dame offensive line. And then I thought Montenegro played extremely well. Then obviously Anthony Cooper locked up with Ashton Offerman, did a nice job covering him, and then had the big pick at the end of the game.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Notre Dame, though, doesn't need to hang their heads. They put up 17 points tonight. Aquinas gave up 17 all year. We saw some glimpses of great play with Koenig, Offerman, Mosley. Those guys are going to get better. That offensive line, that defensive line, they're going to control the line of scrimmage more so than not. And I'll tell you what, I'm excited to see where Notre Dame is going to be in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
And I really think this was a big game for Koenig to show his leadership and to make 2 big plays when his team really needed it. It's going to do big things for him going forth down the road, because now I know he always believed it. If you're a football player, you're pretty confident. But when you see it on the field, it's so different. He went in against a really tough opponent and made some big plays. It didn't work out in the end. That doesn't put any shine off of his performance tonight. Rodney Koenig, 13 to 22 through the air, 230 yards, and made some big plays with his feet and with his arm.
Hey, he made the big play with his feet, got that 21 yards when they needed it, and then he threw a nice strike to Offerman to get them in the scoring position late in the game.
And I did think the Notre Dame defense, when they went down 21-7, they really stiffened up in that third quarter when they needed to. They were able to get the team within a score. I just think Aquinas at the end really wore them down because they were just firing off the football. They won the game in the trenches tonight.
They sure did. And then when you can control the ball, the clock, and get some points out of it, you're kind of tough to beat.
Well-played football game here tonight at Rice Stadium. The victors are the Falcons, 31-17 over the Titans. Until next week, for Jeff Gorham, for J.R. Ibarra, my name is Ghazal Hassan, also for our entire award-winning Riverside TV crew. So long, everybody.